This is another classic and prime example of a young man ruining his own career by using the transfer portal in the worst way possible. I just hope and pray that other recruits, players, and maybe even you watching this video, you're in high school and potentially you're going to play college football, basketball, etc. You're looking at this and you're taking notes. This is 101 of what not to do in college football, especially when you're using the transfer portal. Do I feel bad for this guy? Heck to the no, I don't feel bad for him. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great Monday night. Hope all of you are having a great start to your week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, y'all remember the good old transfer portal? Well, it's heating back up. The past couple of weeks, it not just low-key, but high-key, it died down a lot. But today, it is more than safe to say that it's back to its normal self, and it is on fire. We're going to take a look at a lot of these transfer players. This topic is so important. It is the one only thing we're going to be talking about. We got Georgia players that have just entered the portal. We got Alabama players that have entered the portal. And arguably, one of the main reasons I'm making this video is because a former #1 overall recruit, not just a 5-star, the former #1 overall recruit in the nation, has entered the portal. Y'all understand what #1 overall recruit means, right? It quite literally means nobody's better than him. Well, at least that's according to the ranking, and this former #1 overall recruit has announced where he's going. Strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing, but I am mad blah shit crap out now further ado. Let's get into it. First things first, I've been doing, I'm going to read off one comment and one comment only on one of the recent videos. This is from Michael. Matt be fat. So I'm fat now, I guess. Put down the donut. You may be big back, but you are still my favorite YouTuber. What? So now we're just lying. Apparently Matt B. Great's fat. Whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess. But let's move on to the football stuff. Speaking of football stuff, we got a lot to talk about. Georgia's wide receiver / returner, Anthony Evans. He's entering the transfer portal. This was a former 4-star recruit in the class of 2023. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm not going to sit up here and act like, oh my goodness, this is some devastating blow for Georgia, because it's not. They're just going to replace them. At Georgia, they have so many 4- and 5-star recruits, it's not that big of a deal. And there's another reason why I say it's not a big deal. This was almost perfect timing. News just came out that former Texas A&M wide receiver Noah Thomas, he is more than likely going to Georgia. He has been predicted to go to Georgia, and this will be a huge pickup. Thomas had 8 touchdowns this year for the Aggies, as you can see right here. That'd be pretty nice for Georgia Bulldogs, and it's also ironic because we just got done making a video talking about how Georgia got Zachariah Branch, who I think is going to be really good from USC. When you look at what Georgia's doing at the wide receiver position, they know they need some help, and they're not playing around. Great pickup for Georgia, and since we're talking about them, might as well throw this in there before we move on. Georgia's edge rusher, Wilson, he's entering the portal. This one stings. For those of you that don't recall, Wilson was a 5-star recruit. This one does kind of confuse me because I thought Wilson was more likely going to play a lot next year. Guess he wasn't happy with his role on the team. He's going to be going elsewhere. Where will he end up? That's a mystery, but I'd like to assume he's going to go to a big-time school. Moving along to this one, though. This one's really interesting. Former Alabama and Seminole wide receiver, Malik Benson, he's going to the Duckies. Mr. Malik Benson is an interesting cat because when he went to Alabama, he was supposed to make an instant impact, and to make a long story short, he didn't do anything at Bama. Winds up going to Florida State, and he was arguably their best wide receiver this year, but as we know, Florida State was booty cheeks, so nobody was really keeping tabs on them, and now he's going to Oregon. Here's a $1 million question. Will Malik Benson actually amount to anything at Oregon? I have no idea, but I could also see this happening, and I'm wishing him the best of luck. But I could see him falling behind on the depth chart and being like wide receiver 3, 4, and not getting a lot of balls thrown his way. That happened in Alabama, and although, yeah, he was one of the best wide receivers on Florida State, not saying much on a team that won 2 football games. And plus, too, we all know this, at Oregon, the wide receiver room, it's going to be stacked and loaded, so he's going to have a lot of competition. I think he has a ton of upside, and there's a ton of potential there. I believe in him. But I could also see this not work out, if that makes sense. Wishing the best of luck, though. Moving along here to what I'm going to label as the main topic, the main encore. Main reason you clicked onto this video, or actually, you're just clicking onto this video to see the transport stuff, but it's the main reason I'm making this video. Malachi Nelson. When I said that name, you should have got a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. It should scratch the back part of your memory. Even if you're a casual college football fan, you're probably sitting there going, Malachi Nelson, where have I heard that name before? There's a reason it rings a bell. Because he was the former #1 overall recruit in the nation, and I can't harp on that enough. #1. Wasn't just a 5-star recruit. That's not doing him enough justice. #1 player. And I remember him transferring to Boise State this time last year, and it's Kind of crazy how everything played out when you think about it. Let's break it down. He originally went to USC. And why'd he leave USC? Because he thought, like everybody else originally thought, oh, well, I guess USC found their quarterback of the future, Miller Moss. But come to find out now, and hindsight's 2020, that's not their quarterback of the future. So if he would have just stuck it out, and this is the downside of the transfer portal, players that don't stick it out, they don't get this opportunity. If he would have just stuck it out, got better in practice, just been a little patient and waited his turn, he would more likely get I'm not going to say be the starter of USC, but he would have got a legit shot at being the starter. But you know how it is. It's a new era college football. Players, they up and leave just like that within the snap of a finger. So he leaves USC, and what he's thinking is, all right, I don't want to make that same mistake. I don't want to go to some top program and be in some quarterback competition. Let's go to a non-Power 5 school. That way, I'm guaranteed the starting spot. But just like Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. I guess he thought he was going to walk in and just steal that quarterback spot from Madsen, but that didn't happen, and it didn't even come close to happening. There wasn't even really a quarterback competition. Madsen was the guy from the start, even when Malachi Nelson transferred there. The only thing I can assume is that Malachi Nelson assumed he was easily going to beat him out, but that didn't happen. And it's funny because I remember when we were talking about Malachi Nelson going to Boise State, I remember seeing you guys comment, hey, Malachi Nelson is not just going to be handed this starting job. The Madsen kid, he can play. To summarize this up, doesn't play at Boise State, so he says, all right, screw this. I'm entering the portal again. And I think it's extremely similar to what he did last year. He's like, okay, I want to make sure I'm the starting quarterback. So let's go to a not so great school. And where does he end up? At, guess where? UTEP. And when I say UTEP's a not so very good school, that's actually sugarcoating it. They straight up suck. They went 3-9 this year. 3-9. So yeah, it is more than safe to say that Malachi Nelson should, and I hope he can win the starting quarterback job. Take a look at this. Pete Thamel reported he turned down the opportunity for bigger schools and for more money because of his faith in UTEP coach Scotty Walden and his staff. In other terms, no. Let me dumb this down. That's complete horse crap. He turned down the opportunity at bigger schools and more money, whatever excuse you want to throw out there, because he wants to be guaranteed the starting spot. It's simple, and I'm not faulting him. I'm just telling you reality. Your boy White Randy was an athlete at one point in time, and like every athlete, you want to play. Oh, this is an interesting comment. He'll start for 1 year at UTEP and transfer to a Power 4 school. He's just looking to put something on tape for a year. Wow, interesting. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, that could be a possibility. He can thank his loaded high school team for that ranking. He hasn't seen the playing field since. As another poster suggested, this is now an attempt to build stack game film for the next school or the next level. That's all this is, and it's relatively simple. I know there's still going to be people asking, well, Matt, why Utah? Dude, I just told you. He just wants to play. And let me know in the comment section. I'm curious. Is it fair to already be labeling Malachi Nelson as a bust? He's no longer decorated. He is a two-time transfer who has been beaten out at his 2 prior schools and has done nothing in college. That's not even an opinion, it's a cold hard fact. This is another classic and prime example of a young man ruining his own career by using the transfer portal in the worst way possible. If Malachi Nelson would have just stuck it out at USC, he would have had a great shot of being the starting quarterback. And look at him now. He's going to be the quarterback for 3-9 UTEP, and he hasn't played in 2 years. Do I feel bad for this guy? What do you think? You know what I'm about to say next. Heck to the no, I don't feel bad for him. I'm wishing Malachi Nelson the best of luck, but to be honest, if I had to guess how next year's going to go for him, it ain't going to be nothing crazy. He's not going to do anything special. I just hope and pray that other recruits, players, and maybe even you watching this video, you're in high school and potentially you're going to play college football, basketball, etc. You're looking at this and you're taking notes. This is 101 of what not to do in college football, especially when you're using the transfer portal. One thing I've learned in this life as I've gotten older and slightly matured is this right here. It's good to learn from your mistakes, but it's even better to learn from others. Not just as college football players, but as humans. We're going to mess up, but it's how you respond. It's how you react. It's how you make up from that mistake. And a lot of times to succeed, it takes failure first and from you to learn from that failure. But, and I have an astronomically, enormously big but, there is another way to learn, and that's from watching other people fail. If you see somebody out there make a mistake, or multiple mistakes at that, and it takes them years to learn from it, well, instead of you going through the same process, just look at what they did, and you can skip all that pain. There's many, and I mean many more things I could say. We're going to end this one off here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But